EMS department?
Hey, we got an accident with injuries.
Okay, where at?
Department, 1100 north and 1100 west, Divide.
Okay.
Our choices define us. Our choices are what our lives are made of. Our choices are our responsibility. I chose to drive. I chose to drive, for one, because we all decided that it would be a good idea to go out and get something to eat. It was a truck stop that we've gone to before. We've gone there in the past late at night because it's open 24 hours. It's a place where, you know, we got the munchies from drinking. We can go get something to eat. And it seems like it was a trip that we've taken multiple times in the past. And I drove because I was a kid that I usually drove. You know, I didn't feel safe riding with anybody else. I felt like I was, you know, I put it in my hands, and I felt like I was, you know, able to drive. It's pretty much like your average county road. It's got a few hills throughout it, and you know, but for the most part, it's a county road that I've driven on thousands of times before. I knew the road. It's something that it doesn't matter how many times you've driven the road before, but if you've been drinking, you think you're in control. You think everything's, you know, just going to be perfect. Nothing's going to happen to you. Nothing's going to happen to me. I thought nothing was going to happen to me. I thought I was going to, you know, take that road and like I had before in the past and be sleeping in my bed that night. But everything changed. I remember driving down the road. I don't recall coming up to the intersection. I believe I saw the stop sign and slamming on the brakes, and then I don't recall seeing it. It's more like a sound. I recall hearing the tires locking up, hearing the tires screeching, then hearing the car go through the fence. And then at that time I thought it was just, you know, okay, we hit this fence, you know, we're gonna slow down, and you know, this is all split second and going through my head, and then nothing. And then from what my friend says, who did survive, he says I was talking to him and saying I can't move, and I can't get out of the car, and he was trying to help as much as he could to get me out of the car and get the other victims out of the car, but it was too late for them. And I woke up in the hospital, not knowing what had happened to my friends. It was terrible. It's something that you don't want anybody to go through. Sorry. All comes down to one choice that I made that night. It's a choice that changed my life forever, changed the victims' lives forever. Their families have to deal with it forever now, as do I. And I don't know how many times I think back, I wish we could have changed it. But you can't. You can't say we should not gotten in that car, you need to make that decision before you start to drink. You need to make that decision to not get in the car. Don't drive. It's a decision that we, as many times as you look back at it, you can't, and you think it through, you can't change it. Once you've done it, it's done. I always had the attitude that that's not going to be me. You know, that's just a statistic, you know. It's not going to happen, you know. I felt like I was in control, where in fact, when you get behind the wheel after you've been drinking, in a sense, nobody's in control. It's alcohol that takes over, and you may think you're okay to drive, but you're not at all. My family, it's affected them in ways. I never want to put my family through this. I never wanted to, you know, I thought making that choice that night, you know, I never thought that it would be affecting everybody. And I mean everybody. It affects the whole community. It affects especially my family. Every night we, you know, it just, the vibe's not right. It seems like, you know, there's always something that's it's not normal. And I hate putting my family through this.
How many people are injured?
I don't know. I got to get people out of the car.
Okay, how many vehicles involved?
One vehicle.
We're a typical American family. We've got 3 boys, ages 18, 20, and 21. We raised them in a nice small community in DeMotte, Indiana, a nice farming community. We attend church regularly. Just a very close-knit family. Do a lot of things together. You know, our yearly vacations, or attended sporting events when the boys were little and played in high school and stuff. We're just a typical, you know, white picket fence family. Night of the 22nd, wife and I were sound asleep, planning on going away that day to celebrate our anniversary that weekend. And we got a phone call at 3 o'clock from St. Anthony Hospital stating that our oldest son, Dean, was in a car accident, and we should, they advised us we should go to the hospital because it was pretty serious. So we loaded up as quick as we can, you know, and a million emotions go through your head, not knowing what happened. Get to the hospital, see him laying in the emergency room, and in tears and in a lot of pain. And then we seen another family there of who we knew. Their son was also in there, still not knowing what was going on. Then the police came, and they talked to us and told us, you know, there was an accident, and they think that our son was driving, and that 2 others that were in the car didn't make it, that they passed away. And that's when our whole world came crashing down.
We knew it was fairly serious, but that he would probably make it. He had a tube coming out of his chest to drain the fluid around his lung. He was in a lot of pain. His leg looked pretty bad. It was a compound fracture of the femur, so it was just laying there haphazardly on the gurney. His elbow had a deep gash in it, and it didn't look very good at all. I usually don't have a very queasy stomach, but I did. But there's no place I would rather be than by his side. And he just kept saying, "I'm sorry, Mom, I'm sorry, Mom."
You never think that it would happen to you, that your son, was in an accident that could have taken the life of 2 young people. And it's just one of those things that you feel just so empty and hollow inside. You're just distraught, just all because this alcohol. A choice was made that to drive, and because of that, 2 people are gone. And the whole community's just being in a small community, everybody knows everybody, and the whole community is just distraught over it, and especially the 2 families. We're talking, their kids. I mean, we have our son, but they don't have theirs, and and just the pain and suffering that they're going through, that we feel for them. I mean, well, the pain we felt, we can't fathom what the pain that they felt because of a bad choice.
In the first emergency room, he kept asking about them and how his friends were. And I told him his one friend was doing well. And I kept putting off talking about the 2 that didn't make it. And when we were at Loyola emergency room, he kept asking again. And I couldn't lie to him any longer. So I asked the doctors to leave us alone so I could talk to him about his friends in the vehicle, about the fatalities in the vehicle. And he screamed, "They died?" And he just went into this turmoil.
Now he's got a long rehab process for his injuries, but then it's the court system. We've all come to grips that we realize he will have to go to jail for this. But, the length and time, we don't know. He made a bad choice, and that choice is leading to him, changing his life as far as jail time in our life, with our son being incarcerated.
Okay, did it roll over?
No, but it's on fire.
Okay, it's on fire? All right, we will get the fire department and officers going. What's your name, sir?
My family is affected so bad, so much by this, because it changed everything. They used to not have to worry about, what to look at, what's in the future. It was just, we were a regular family. My brother just graduated high school. They should be worrying about his college. And now they got to worry about their son going to jail. And I never thought that it'd affect my family as much as it has. But they have to deal with it as well as I do. And it's changed them, their way of life.
We wanted to do this public service announcement to let people know that their choices affect others, and that they need to make the choice to not drive before they make the choice to drink. We don't want this to happen, this tragedy to happen to any other family. It's very difficult to bear.
I'm doing this so hopefully, if I don't expect everybody who watches this to stop drinking and driving. I was one of the kids who I'd see something like this and I'd almost brush it off. as if it's not gonna, they're talking to me, but it's not gonna happen to me. I hope that through this I can reach out to, if it's only one person, who decides not to drink and drive after this, then, that's, as long as we can save one life, I hope that we can prevent kids from drinking and driving, and so they don't have to go through what I have gone through, what I've put my family through, or what the families of my two friends who passed away are going through right now. I'm Dean Tillema. We make choices every day. The choice I made destroyed people's lives. You can choose to learn from my mistake. You can choose not to drink and drive. You can choose not to get into the car. What will you choose?